What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Prep, Cook, Plate, Repeat. This week's episode, we're making pork shank osso bucco. It's one of my favorite dishes to make. I learned it when I was younger. It's a really nice hearty dish. It's a kind of a time-consuming dish because you need to. It's easy to prepare, but you got to cook on the stove for some time. All right, so we're gonna show you how to do that. All right, so for this recipe here, we're gonna need pork shanks. As you can see, the shank is pretty much the hind piece of the leg. So if you look at my arm, and if I was a pig, right, and if I was walking, the front part, this part right here would be the hind. That's the shank. From the elbow, kind of my elbow down to the hoof, as they would say, that's the shank. So these are about an inch thick, maybe an inch and a half thick. They're really nice size of osso bucco. So I'm going to show you how to prepare these. There's a little bit of silver skin on these. I want to cut that because even in the braise, I just don't really want that to be super rubbery because that's not going to cook out. So you're just going to take your knife and you're going to cut right along just like that. Pull some of that skin right off. Just like that. All right. It's really, really tough skin. And like I said, you could cook this for 2 hours and that's not going to come out. So just remove that skin. Got a little bit here. Carefully get your knife underneath. And then kind of cut away at that. Just like that. Perfect. So once that's done, we're going to season this bad boy up. A little bit of salt. Nice cracked black pepper right on it. Just make sure you get all that nice salt in there. And then a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. Just like that. Alrighty, beautiful. Now what we're going to do is we're going to bring over the stove. We're going to sear this off and we're going to start making our sauce. So I'll be right back. Alright, so we got our oven here set up. We're going to start with some extra virgin olive oil. Right inside. I want to make sure this pan is nice and hot because we want to hear that sear. All right, let's put it down. That's what you want right there. We're going to sear these shanks till they're really, really nice and golden brown. Probably going to take about 5 minutes for the total, 5 to 6 minutes total. In the meantime, so we're going to make our sauce from this pot. So we're going to sear these off. We're going to take out the shanks. And then we're going to start making our sauce inside. For the sauce, we're going to need some celery, some carrots, and some onions. One of each. Large dice is totally fine. Doesn't have to be perfect. A rough chop is totally cool. We're going to need some bay leaves. We're going to need a cup of red wine. And then some salt and some pepper and some tomato paste. So we're going to let these do their thing. We'll come right back and we'll start working on that sauce. Alright, so as you can see, we got a really nice sear on these shanks. That's what you want. You want some deep caramelization right there. Beautiful. All right, so we're going to let that other side sear off for a little bit more. We're going to pull them out in a few minutes, and we're going to start cooking and making our sauce. We'll be right back. All right, guys, so now we pulled our shanks. As you can see, all this beautiful stuff at the bottom, that's called fond, right? You want to keep all that flavor. That's all flavor in the bottom. We're not going to get rid of that. We're going to use that same oil, and we're going to cook our veggies in there. So what you want to do is we're going to add some bay leaves right inside. Kind of flavor that oil. Just be careful when you do that because that pops. Next thing, carrots. Nice large rough chopped carrots. Right in. Next thing, celery. Beautiful. Right in. And then I got some rough chopped onions. We're going to go right in as well. Beautiful. And a little bit of garlic as well. Right in, just like that. We're going to cook these veggies until they get some nice rough color on them. You really want them to get nice and brown. That's going to take at least 7-8 minutes or so to get that color. Just make sure your flame is on medium-high heat for that. Alright, so we're going to let these cook. I'll be right back. Alright, so now our veggies have been cooking. As you can see, they're really starting to take on some beautiful color. That's what you want right there. they went and they absorbed the bottom of the pan. All that fond is now in the veggies. Next thing we're gonna do is a little bit of tomato puree. Tomato paste is fine as well. Got about 1 tablespoon of that in there. Put that in there and let that all cook together. You want to cook that rawness out from that tomato. Really nice. Beautiful. Next thing, we're going to add a little bit of flour. This is just going to help us thicken up our sauce while it cooks. Just a nice little pinch, just like that. Not too much. We don't want a super thick sauce. We just want a nice viscosity on it. Beautiful. Just let that cook for a little bit. Cook that flour, cook that tomato paste. That smells amazing. That's really good. Nice. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to add some red wine. I got a little Cabernet Sauvignon. If you have a little bit of red wine laying around, totally fine. Just like that. That's about half a cup of red wine right there. We're going to let this cook. We're going to bring that red wine to a boil. And then we're almost going to evaporate everything. Not the whole thing, just where a little bit of red wine is left. That's going to take about 4 to 5 minutes. So I'll be right back. Alright, so as you can see, our sauce has really got thick and it's reduced down, which is what you want right there. That's beautiful. It smells amazing. Cannot wait to eat this. Alright, so we're going to put our shanks right back in. Now this recipe makes for 2. As obviously you see here, I have 2 shanks. This recipe makes for 2 dishes. Next thing we're going to do is I got some water here on the side. And we're just going to ladle some water right in. Now you can use stock, beef stock, chicken stock is totally fine. I'm just going to use a little bit of water. Right in. Now we're not going to fully cover the shanks. We're just going to come to about halfway, 3/4 way, right in. Just like that. Beautiful. Alright. Got a little bit of fresh oregano that I'm going to throw in here. Just like that. Give it a little flavor. I'm going to add seasoning now. I'm going to add some black pepper. Since we added all that water, that kind of dilutes our sauce that we had going. So we need to kind of reconcentrate this. Make it flavorful. Nice 2 pinches of salt. We will taste again for flavor in about an hour. See where our salt is. See where our pepper is. See if we need anything else. We're going to bring this to a boil. And we're going to cook this for a good 2 hours. These shanks are pretty thick. They're pretty big. So we'll check on this in an hour. We'll check for seasoning. And then we'll let this go for about 2 hours. You almost want it where it falls off the bone, but not quite completely. You want to be able to break this with a spoon. That's how tender you want it, but not to come off of the bone. All right, so we'll be back in an hour. All right, guys, so I checked on our osso bucco. It is all done. What I did was, as you can see here, I took the sauce, I put it through a strainer, and I just took all the sauce. Everything that was inside, the carrots, the celery, onions, I discarded that. I threw that out. So I just took the sauce, I reduced it down a little bit, and then I was just coating the sauce onto the shank so it could get that nice like lacquer color that you see there. That's all I did with that. To go with the shank, I made a little bit of risotto. If you've seen our previous videos, risotto is just, I took some carrots, celery, and onion. I small diced it, and then I put it in a pot just like this. Toasted the rice, and then I added boiling water. The water needs to be boiling so this can cook. I did about a cup of rice in here. Now you want it to be nice and liquidy. You don't want it to be a dry risotto. Beautiful. Just like that. Wonderful. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to place our beautiful shank that we have here. Right on top, right in the middle. Take some of that beautiful sauce. Just kind of drizzle that all around there. Just like that. Beautiful. Okay. And then last, I made something called a gremolata. All this is some chopped herbs. I use mint, oregano, and parsley. I chopped it. I zested one little garlic, one tooth of garlic, just like this. I took it on the grater and I zested it right in here. And half of a lemon, the skin and the juice of half of a lemon in here, with some olive oil, as you can see. This is just to break up that really richness from the pork and that sauce and that risotto. We need something like citrusy, something fresh to help that out. I'm going to take some of this right on. Just like that, right on. And you can put some more around, just like that. Beautiful. There you have it, guys. Really, really nice, delicate, super simple, but you just need, it's a little time consuming, but it's just on the stove that cooks for at least 2 hours. Beautiful pork shank, osso bucco, with some risotto rice, parmesan inside as well, and a nice gremolata finish on top. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. We'll catch you next time.